1 minute.
Oh,
No.
I already started.
Buenas camaradas, estamos en un nuevo episodio de Parias Podcast y hoy tenemos con nosotros a un camarada polaco, Tavares Mitchell, y nos va a hablar de la época de la República Popular de Polonia y sus logros, sus errores y la situación actual de la izquierda en Polonia, en un país bastante católico y reaccionario, ¿no? Bienvenido, welcome.
Welcome, comrade. I would like to say that I was very in the past. I read some books about Fidel Castro, and you with your bird and with your Spanish language, I don't understand what did you say, but it was very similar for the language of Fidel.
Thanks. Ok. Primer periodo. First period. Beirut. Después de la victoria de la resistencia en la Segunda Guerra Mundial y la derrota del nazismo y la liberación de Polonia, la izquierda de Polonia se une, el Partido Popular Polaco, PPS, y el Partido Obrero Polaco, PPR, para crear el PZPR. La creación de la República Popular de Polonia fue aprobada por referéndum en 1946. Hasta 1956 tuvo lugar esta primera etapa, que podríamos definir estalinista, de Boleslaw Bierut, que se centró en la reconstrucción del país. Ahora voy a proceder a hacer las preguntas. En primer lugar, first of all, how do you assess this stage of Beirut? What is the general image in Poland of this stage of the PRL? And what achievements would you highlight for this stage? Las preguntas en español serían: ¿cuál es la imagen general? ¿Cómo valoras esta etapa de Beirut? ¿Cuál es la imagen general en Polonia de esta etapa? ¿Y qué logros destacarías de esta etapa? You can respond.
Okay, so your question to answer something about Beirut, I think that we need to say something about the history of the communist movement in Poland in the Second World War. And 1 year before the Second World War started, because there was a very important event for the history of the Polish communist movement, that in 1937 and 1938, the Communist Party of Poland was delegalized by the Third International. It was for the reason that in the Communist Party of Poland there was a lot of agents provocateurs of the Polish authoritarian state. And many members of the Communist Party of Poland went to Soviet Union, and many of them were persecuted. So the Communist Party, when the war was started, the Communist Party of Poland didn't exist. So it was very, very difficult thing for building the socialist Poland without Communist Party. So in the time of when the revolution, when the war was started, the Polish communists were in few places. First place, there was a Polish prisons. There was a lot of communists who were in the time of when the war started. They were in prison, and because they were in prison, they survived these purges which were in Soviet Union. Second place, important for you and your comrades, I think, it's Spain, because some of the communists were a member of the international brigades. And there are a lot of Polish people who are in the international brigades in Spain. And this movement was controlled by the communists. Especially, we need to remember some names like brothers Mołojec. They created the Polish Workers' Party. Also, we need to remember about the General Świerczewski. He was the one of the most important general of the Polish army, which liberated Poland, and hundreds of others. And the third place where there are Polish communists, of course, is the Soviet Union. So the communist movement in Poland have two big tragedies. First tragedy is liquidation of the Communist Party of Poland. Second is the beginning of the Second World War, because the Poland were attacked by the Germans. But in 17th of September, also the eastern part of Poland were captured by the Soviet Union. It was we need understand that in this time that it was not attacked in the third right. It was for me it was the export of the revolution. And there were many interesting things which taken place in western part of Ukraine, in capital of Lvov, and also western part of Belarus. And the Polish communists, many of Polish communists in this time, they go to eastern part of Poland. They go to Lvov or to Belarus, and they became a member of Communist Party of Soviet Union. And it was 2 years when they were the important member which organized the revolution there. So they organized the collectivization, they organized the class struggle. So the war was started in 1949, but since 1941, there didn't exist the guerrilla movement against Nazi in Poland. This guerrilla movement against Nazi started in December 1941. And it is not only in Poland, it is all similar things in France, for example, that in the time when before the Third Reich attacked the Soviet Union, the communists didn't organize the guerrilla movement against Nazi. So it was very shameful, I think, this part of history. But we need to understand that when this guerrilla movement was started, was very, very, very strong and very aggressive. That since first days, the communists, which starting to organize this guerrilla movement against Nazis, they have a lot of success. So the communist movement was divided for the people who in the time of war were in Poland, in occupied Poland. So the people, the most important guy is Władysław Gomułka. In the time of the occupation, he was in the occupied Poland and he organized the guerrilla movement. He was not a member of guerrilla movement, he was the member of the party, but it was connected. And the other communists in this time, like Bolesław Bierut, they were in Soviet Union. So this history of division of Polish communists was very important for all the history of the socialist Poland. It is a little similar to the history of the Bolshevik party, that there were some members of Bolshevik party like comrade Stalin who fight in Russia. They were in Russia, they were in Siberia, they were in prison, and there were some Bolsheviks in emigration, like Lenin, but also Trotsky, who was not Bolshevik, but this difference that some guys were many of years in the emigration and other guys were in this time in the country. It was important for the after when the revolution was victorious. So, we have this division between Gomułka and people in Poland and the people in the Soviet Union. And when Poland was liberated, we had unification of Polish communist movement. It was unification. There was many parts of unification because we have communists which were in Soviet Union. We have communists which were in occupied Poland. We have Polish army which were collaborated with these communists in Poland, which were in Soviet Union. But it was some independent things. For example, General Jaruzelski, who was the leader of socialist Poland in 1980s, I don't consider Jaruzelski like communist. He wasn't communist, but he was Polish patriot. He was a member of army. And we need to understand that also these guys, the Polish patriots, created socialist Poland, which were never communist. And the last part of this movement were the communists which were in the emigration in France, in Spain, in other parts. For example, Edward Gierek, who was a leader of the Communist Party in 1970s, he was in France. So the Poland was liberated, and we have now the we can divide this time of the ruling of Bolesław Bierut for two steps. First, it is from 1944 until 1948, and after we have 1948, after the death of the Bolesław Bierut. First time, it is the time of we can say that it is the Popular Front. It is Popular Front where there are the communists in the government, but we can't say that it is the socialist state. It is the coalition with another forces, democratic forces, anti-fascist forces. We need to understand also that Poland before the war was the authoritarian fascist state. So there are that the program of communists was not only program against the Nazis in Germany, but also against the Nazi collaborators of Polish and many Democrats, bourgeois Democrats supported Polish communists. From first days already started the economic reforms, which were very important for building socialism, but in the cultural level, it was not so socialist state. So in the propaganda, there were Catholic Church, there was a lot of traditionally patriotic stuff, blah blah blah. After we have the 1948, and we can say that it is not only the revolution in the economic level, but also the revolution in the cultural level. So we have expansion of Marxism, Leninism in universities, and it is from my perspective. For the education, it was the better time in history of Poland, because before was not good, and after 1956 also we started this Marxism Leninism was changed. So maybe I stopped here. I don't know. You have some question, or I can continue if you want.
First, I have one question. The Socialist Party of Poland and Worker Party, the Communist Party, unified voluntary for all the parts of, or are socialists that no, that didn't want the union?
The Socialist Party of Poland was divided. That there were some people like Józef Cerankiewicz, who was a prisoner of Auschwitz, and he was a hero. He collaborated with Polish communists, and he was the after he became a prime minister of Socialist Poland. He was a prime minister, I think, 20 years. So there was the one part that this is the member, the Socialist Party, which collaborated with Polish Workers' Party, and these people after they created Polish United Workers' Party. But there were, of course, anti-communists in Polish Socialist Party, which they didn't support the alliance with Soviet Union. Most of them, after they choose an emigration, they go to London, and so this party was it is. I think that we can compare this situation to the SR party in the time of the October Revolution. That this was big party, and the left SRs, they supported October Revolution, and the right wing, they starting to organize the right wing with, I don't know, Savinkov or guys like this. They started to organize the counter-revolutionary activity. So for my perspective, this time after 1948, we can say that it was a socialist revolution in Poland. For me, revolution is not a thing that, I don't know, people go to street, they shout, they create barricade and stuff like this. For me, revolution is a change of the society, if the realization of the socialist program. And so there was a nationalization of the finance sector, that there created one national bank, and this bank have a monopoly for all this economic stuff with the trade with the another countries, and also trade in Poland. There were the nationalization of all big industries. There were all these belongings for the people who collaborated with Nazis, and also the big bourgeoisie and aristocracy, which is chosen emigration. All these things were taken by the state. And it is important for many reasons, not only economic reason, but also the cultural reason. For example, I worked 3 years in a big bibliothèque in Warsaw. This bibliothèque was created because this bibliothèque existed before the war, but in the time of the Warsaw Uprising, it was destroyed. All these books were in fire. But they recreated this bibliothèque very fast, because they taken the private bibliothèques of the Polish aristocracy and they nationalized. So before, these books was only for the rich, only for the aristocracy, And after these books where everybody can have access for this. And they rebuilt Warsaw. Warsaw was totally destroyed, and they rebuilt Warsaw very, very fast. There are a lot of information how Poland was this economic miracle, I can say. In 1950s, in the first years of the 1950s in Poland, we have economic miracle similar for the processes in Soviet Union in 1930s. So very, very fast industrialization, very fast collectivization. Of course, the collectivization, we didn't have this problem like in Soviet Union that because in Soviet Union they wanted to make the collectivization in one day, and it provoked after the problems that the kulaks were fighting against collectivization, and it provoked the problem with hunger. And so in Poland they tried to make collectivization a little different, and so they collectivized only 25% of the rural areas. But without this fight with peasants, that it was they started in the area of the western Poland, which before the war was the German area. So they take the first collective farms they built there, but they wanted to continue these processes. Unfortunately, in that after the death of Stalin, I think that we can say maybe 1954 or 1955, they stopped these processes. And when the Gomułka take power in 1956, he officially announced that there will be no longer the forced collectivization. So if somebody wants to make the collective farms, it's not problem, but the state will not force this. It was the real drama for the Polish society, because it was the Poland was the only socialist state without the collectivization, and we were the only state with problems with the we have hunger in Eastern Germany. 100% of the land were collectivized, and the shops were there was a lot of things for eat. In Poland we have problems because we have less market.
Okay, comrade. I'm going to the next question. Bierut muere el 12 de marzo del 56, después de asistir al famoso 20 Congreso del PQ, donde Rousseau pronuncia el famoso discurso de desestalinización de la Unión Soviética y del resto de partidos comunistas del mundo. ¿Crees que la muerte fue accidental, la muerte de Bierut, o hubo algo más? Do you think the death of Bierut was casual, or was there something else? It's a conspiration of Rousseauist part of Soviet Union Communist Party.
It's a difficult question, and everybody in Poland, when Bierut died, there was a rumor that he was killed, but I don't think so, because we need to remember that when the Bierut died, he was the new leader of socialist Poland was Edward Ochap. And Edward Ochap, he continued the political line of the Bolesław Bierut. So if why somebody can kill Bierut? Because he wanted to change the politics, but the death of Bierut changed nothing. And when I spoke with comrades from other countries about the difference and the fight of the Beirut and Gomułka, they very they they think that it is the same like Stalin and Khrushchev. That Beirut is Stalin and Gomułka is Khrushchev. I think that it is a little more complicated. That it's I don't want to say that Gomułka was a Polish Khrushchev, because Khrushchev is a guy who made a lot of bad things, and he was this dishonest person, and I don't respect Khrushchev. Gomułka was different guy. Gomułka, he very we our conversation I started from these two things which are very important for the communist movement in Poland: tragedy of the liquidation of communist movement, and also this incorporation of eastern part of Poland to Soviet Union. And the communist movement in Poland didn't have this power which existed in other countries like Yugoslavia, like France, like I don't know, Italy maybe less, but France and Yugoslavia, it is an example of or Greece. It is an example when the Communist Party create a very wide movement, patriotic movement, and the people, they identify themselves with communists because communists fight not only for the workers but also for the liberation of the state. In Poland, we had also in mind of the Polish people. They think that communists are not honest. That communists are the traitor. They are the marionette of the Soviet Union. They are not patriot, and these Polish communists were not so popular in Poland like the communists in other countries of Eastern Bloc. In the time when the Gomułka take power, he said that now we will build the socialism in Poland, and it will be Polish socialism. So we will not listen all the time the Soviet Union. And it was a time when the leader of Soviet Union was Khrushchev. So we can say that Gomułka was against this Khrushchev contra-revolution, and he didn't want it to be because if Gomułka was a guy similar to Khrushchev, he will say, "Okay, I will listen you in every question." But he didn't want it to listen to Khrushchev. So he said, now all the Soviet officers which were in the Polish army will come back to Soviet Union, because the Polish army was created by the Soviet officers like Rokossowski, for example, he was a Polish communist, but 20 years he lived in Soviet Union, and when he came back to Poland, he was firstly he was marshal of the Soviet Union, and after Stalin said, "Okay, now we have independent Poland, you will be a marshal of Poland." And Rokossowski, he didn't want it, but it was the order of Stalin. Okay, and there were a lot of guys like Rokossowski. So,
Okay, I'm going now to introduce the Gomulka state and do the questions about him. Tras la muerte de Bierut, Gomulka fue elegido presidente. Gomulka pasó en la cárcel unos años por ser contrario al estalinismo imperante en aquellos tiempos y por oponerse a ciertas medidas estalinistas como la colectivización forzosa. Esta etapa duró hasta 1970 y fue una etapa de cierto crecimiento económico y una mejora de nivel de vida bastante importante. Y vivió una mayor libertad social y económica, ¿no? Pero manteniendo los principios del marxismo-leninismo. También promovió la independencia polaca, o sea, más independencia de Polonia respecto a la Unión Soviética, con el llamado camino polaco al socialismo. Fue destituido de su cargo como secretario general del Partido Obrero Unificado Polaco debido a un aumento de precios que anunció y que fue respondido por protestas que, aunque pudieran ser legítimas, desde luego fueron utilizadas por las fuerzas contrarrevolucionarias, los sectores más reaccionarios y de Polonia, entre ellos los sectores católicos. Entonces, las preguntas serían: ¿cómo evalúa este periodo? ¿Cuál es la opinión general sobre Gomulka en Polonia? He leído que fue el mejor presidente de Polonia en la República Popular. ¿Qué logros se destaca en esta etapa y cuál es su opinión sobre el aumento de los precios y las protestas llevadas a cabo? The questions are next. What is the general opinion about Gomulka in Poland? I have read that he was the best president, the best general secretary of the Popular Republic. What do you think about that? And what achievements you stand out from this stage? And what is your opinion about the rise of the prices and the protest carried out in 1970? You can answer.
So we need to remember that Gomulka was in power 2 times. First time he was a leader of the Polish Workers' Party since 1944 until 1948, and second, it was 1956 until 1970. In this first period, he was responsible for the organization of the new territories which were German before. He was the minister of the Ziemie odzyskane. It was land taken from Germany. And I think that if you ask somebody, what do you think about the activity of Gomulka since 1944 until 1948, 100% of Poles said it was good. Because everybody support that this land like Wrocław or Szczecin were taken from Germans, and it's very quickly they organize economic life, but also cultural life. They organize universities, schools, and stuff like this. But of course, when we speak about Gomulka, the most important is this second period, from 1956 until 1970s. So the people say that there are some things which the Poles are supported. For example, that Poland became a little independent from the Soviet Union, but because of the some decision of Gomulka, this economic miracle which existed in the time of Bierut, because in the time of Bierut it was the continuation of the economic politics in the time of Stalin in 1930s. So very, very fast economic growth. Gomułka, he stopped this. For him, this politic was not good. He wanted to make a politic a little different, and the economic consequence was that the economic growth of Poland was continue. It was the growth, but smaller in the time of Bierut. There are second problem, which is independent from this difference Bierut and Gomułka, that the Poland have big demographic problems. That we have the success of socialist Poland was that we have a lot of children. That it is that the population of Poland since 1945 until 1989 was doubled. It was starting from 23 million until 38. So in the time of Gomułka, we already have this problem that we have young generation of young Poles, and we need to rebuild a lot of houses for them, because we have and in the last years of Gomułka, he was already old, and it was a time that this generation of people in all the Europe countries, like De Gaulle and other guys who were in power since Second World War, and the people were tired of this. And this protest in the 1970s, I think that it was the provocation. It was the provocation of the guys in the army who wanted to do something to take Gomułka out from power, but they didn't know how to do this. And this question of rising prices, it is something which exists only in socialist economy, because in capitalist economy we have the rising prices every day. Now we have inflation in every European Euro countries, and we don't have this protest that when we have rising prices of gas, of rising prices of food, rising prices of everything, nobody have demonstration. In Poland, we have the control of prices. So Poland have good system. It is the control of prices. It is something good for the society, but because Gomułka he didn't continue this Stalinist economic policy, there were some economic problems. And after the one of the biggest diplomatic victory of Gomułka, because Gomułka achieved that the German Western state, they accepted the Polish borders. The chancellor of the Germany came to Poland, and he accepted the Polish border so it was big success. And because of this success, Gomułka announced that now we will rise the prices, and it was few days before the Christmas. And Poland Catholic society, the Christmas is very important, so the people were angry. There were some protests, but the response of the states was very, very brutal. That the people, the soldiers, starting to shoot to the workers, and now my comrade Bruno Drwęski, which you can find the lectures of Bruno about this subject, he try to verify who make orders for this. And it was not orders of Gomułka, and it was not orders for the most important politicians. It was some orders in the army. They say that we need to kill some workers, so they killed I don't know 100 workers, and it was for changing the power for me it was the provocation. They wanted to take out the Gomułka, and they used this situation. Of course, there are some problems why Gomułka was in power until 1970, because it is the problem of the socialist society that they are some leaders, and you don't know how to change the leader because he was popular, he was experienced, but
do you think that was a conspiration to fire Gomulka, to substitute Gomulka of General Secretary charge in the Central Committee of the United Workers' Party of Poland?
yes, it is. After this, not only Gomułka, but all the people of Gomułka, they lose power, and they are new guys of Edward Gierek, who are. It is like this change from Gomułka to Gierek. We can compare to this change when Khrushchev take power. That all these guys which were before he take out. All these guys with Gierek were different with guys which Gomułka. But it is mystery. It is mystery, and even now they didn't make any commission to understand how was this what's happened. What we know what's happened, but how it's happened that the soldiers they are shooting to the workers without any reason, because it was not. Because in 1956, also we have the soldiers are shooting for the workers, but it was a reason, because these workers they are make similar situation which taken place in Odessa in 2nd May 2014. So they surrounded the building of the Communist Party in Poznań, and they make fire. They make fire for the building of Communist Party. So to make to survive these communist members of this party, you need to do something with these guys. And it was not only the workers. There are a lot of anti-communist members of these anti-communist guerrillas which fight against communists in 1940s. So this struggle in 1956, I think that it was good decision. If workers, if somebody make fire against Communist Party, he needs to be punished. And in 1970s, it was different situation. The workers go to the street, and the soldiers starting to shoot, and it was the same situation in Gdańsk and in Szczecin. And Gdańsk, Szczecin, it is very far. But somebody in army decided, okay, we will do this here, we will do it there, and after we'll change the power in Poland.
Why do you think that Gomulka in these days is valorated like the best leader Poland. I read many Polish people that say that Gomulka is the best president of the Popular Republic. Why do you think that the people in Poland have that memories of Gomulka stage?
For me and my comrades, we don't think that the Gomulka is the better. We think that the Bierut is the better. But unfortunately, I don't have power in Poland. Most of the Polish people are patriotic and hate the Soviet Union and hate Russia, especially now in the time of the war in Ukraine. They hate Russia. They hate everything which is Russian. And in 1956, there was a danger of the Soviet intervention in Poland, and Gomulka he have meeting with Khrushchev, and he was tough, and he say no, don't make intervention with this, because Polish population and Polish army will fight against Soviet Union, and it will be not like Hungary, which is a small state. Here you will have very big. And so there was some legend that Gomulka he was like Polish Tito, that he say something against Soviet Union and Soviet. I think that it is only this, that because these guys with Bierut, it is something different when you, in the time of war, you are in Soviet Union and you are safe, and it is something different when you are living in the occupied Poland and every day you can be arrested by Gestapo and Gomulka, because in the time of war he was in occupied Poland, and many members of Communist Party were killed by Gestapo, were killed in Auschwitz, in other places. He was respected for this, and there were some political difference between Bierut and Gomulka, but Bierut couldn't never change this, that his past was different. He made a lot of important job in Soviet Union, because of this communists were in Poland, in Soviet Union. They can create the Polish Communist Army, so it was important. But for the people, Gomulka was a hero who were in the occupied Poland, because how they created the Polish Workers' Party? They were also in Soviet Union, and they come to Poland, occupied Poland. They come here. They risk their life. They knew that it is very risky to come to occupied Poland and to build the communist conspirational party. And if Gestapo find you, they will kill you. And so you see, it is something that. But Gomulka, like a leader of Poland, 1960. I don't think that it is the better time for the Polish population. I think that the 1950s is better, because we have this revolution. We have that something is changed, and this young generation of Poles, which they first time in history of the Polish nation, they have access for the university. They have access for the life which before were only reserved for the bourgeoisie. It's like every revolution. When you participate in revolution, there is some optimism. In time of Gomulka, it was different.
Okay, and now I'm going to start with your stage. Tras la destitución de Gomulka llegó Edward Gierek, quien a través de una política reformista centrada en la mayor producción de bienes y servicios, logró una de las mejores etapas en cuanto a crecimiento económico se refiere, y para muchos fue la etapa más próspera de Polonia. Pero este crecimiento durante la década de los 70 se vio obstaculizado por el error de endeudarse internacionalmente, a mi parecer, de Gierek con los países occidentales, que causó una gran crisis a finales de los 70, y en el 76 propuso un aumento de precios debido a la crisis que estaba sucediendo, y esto provocó protestas que fueron de nuevo utilizadas por contrarrevolucionarios para crear caos. Finalmente, este aumento fue cancelado y se optaron por otras medidas. En el verano de 1980, después de ahora sí un aumento de precios que se realizó, tuvieron lugar las manifestaciones famosas de los astilleros de Dansk y Szczecin. El gobierno negoció con los manifestantes y se firmaron una serie de acuerdos, y se creó en este momento, fue cuando se empezó a crear el famoso sindicato contrarrevolucionario Solidarność. Y además era ultracatólico. También destaca el acercamiento con la Iglesia polaca en esta etapa, con la visita del infame para todos Juan Pablo II durante su mandato. Gierek fue sustituido en septiembre del 80, y las preguntas serían: ¿cuál es su opinión sobre esta etapa? ¿Crees que Gierek se equivocó al pedir prestado internacionalmente dinero? ¿Cuál es la opinión general de Gierek en Polonia? ¿Se podría haber evitado la crisis y la creación de solidaridad si no hubiera introducido con tantas reformas y concesiones a los reaccionarios? Como curiosidad, Solidaridad es el nombre del sindicato de Vox, que está basado en este sindicato también contrarrevolucionario. Okay, the questions are, how do you assess this period? What is the general opinion about Gierek? Do you think that Gierek was wrong to borrow internationally? What is the general opinion of Gierek in these days? And could the crisis and the creation of Solidarność have been avoided if he had not introduced so many reforms and concessions to reactionary sectors of Polish society? You can start.
You know, the question of Gierek is very, very difficult because why it is difficult? Because he tried to build the society when the communists are in power, but they organized the market reforms. And Deng Xiaoping in China, when he made his reform, he watched the example of Gierek, and he copied this example in China. So when we speak about China, because what is the problem of Gierek? That he is starting to make this market reform in Poland, and in first years we have the economic growth very quick, and after we have economic crisis. So the conception is the crisis in Poland was provoked of this because of market reform, because market reform always bad. Now when we see the example of China, we see that they had market reform. They have the socialist state with a lot of in 1980s and 1990s there are a lot of the Western capital which were investing in China, and in China it is success. In success we have, I don't know, 30 or 40 years in China. All the time we have the growing of the Chinese economy. So with the success of the China today, it's now complicated to say if Gierek was stupid, if Gierek was traitor or not. because this reform which Gierek made in 1970s, and it was failure in Poland. In China, it's finished like a success. So is this problem, the problem is the reform of Gierek or something else? Or what was different in China which are not in Poland? I think that the biggest problem of Gierek was that he made that the Polish economy was dependent from the Western state, dependent in the technology and also dependent of the export, that Poland wanted to export some stuff to the West, and when the Western economy was in crisis, this crisis came back to Poland also. From the communist perspective, I would like to say that Gierek was a traitor, that introducing market reform was a treason of the socialism. But from the economic analysis, it's more complicated. We will see. We can speak frankly about Gierek when we will have economic crisis in China. Maybe it will be in the next year, maybe next 10 years, maybe next 20 years. Nobody knows what will be the future of China, but it's very, very complicated discussion. Now is the question of the solidarity movement. I think that the reason why the workers organized the strike movement, this reason were good, that they fight against this capitalist degeneration of the socialist state. The problem was that they were manipulated by the anti-communists, which they pushed these workers not to fight against these bureaucrats, but they pushed them to fight for the against Soviet Union, against socialism, for the theocratical state, and many bad stuff. But the workers in 1980s, they have the right to make the protest against party, because parties starting to degenerate. This question which existed now in China, that we have the millionaires or billionaires in the Communist Party, it's shame. It is shame for the Marxist ideas that we have the guy who is millionaire, he exploited the workers, he is very, very rich, and he came to the Communist Party and they said, oh, hello, comrade. No, you are not comrade. When you are billionaire, you are not a comrade, and your place is not the Communist Party. Of course, in Poland party, we didn't have millionaires like in China today, but this processes of this split, that there were some bureaucrat which became starting to be rich, and the workers, it's something which I'm not agree with this.
And what do you think with the rapprochement with the church and the visit of the famous John Paul II during his stage, and why are what workers that being manipulated by a contra-revolutionary, ultra Catholic and reactionary trade union like Solidarity? Why do you think that people affiliated that trade union?
I think that it is the fault of Gomułka, because when you want to make a communist revolution, you have a revolution in the economic level, but you need to have a revolution also in cultural level, ideological level. You need to educate people that the religion is a bullshit, that there is a science and stuff like this. So the Communist Party always need to say that okay, there are Catholic Church, we will not kill this priest, but you organize all this discussion. You teach people that that it is reactionary ideas from the Middle Ages, and now in 20th century it is something that nobody care about. But the problem of party was that they were lazy. They didn't fight ideologically against Catholic Church. They accepted the situation that the Catholic can be a member of the party. So there are, you know that I want to build the one vanguard party. That party which it's not for everybody, but party which is reserved for people who know Marxism and stuff like this. And okay, if in the time of the struggle some workers which have Catholic background support us, it's good. But the leaders of the party need to be atheists, needs to be the scientific, and also you present your position towards the Catholic Church. And in Poland it was very easy to show that if we want to build a patriotic state, we can't accept that Polish Catholic Church is dependent from outside, is dependent from Vatican. So they can fight against Catholic Church. They didn't do this. So Gomułka, he stopped this ideological war with Catholic Church in 1956. And after 20 years, you have a new generation of workers manipulated by the Catholic Church. And when the Polish Pope became a Pope, there was some orgasmic idea that now we have it's like a football that you know that when the Polish team win, now the Polish Pope is the Robert Lewandowski that and he play now in Barcelona, but everybody loved him because the small nation are when there are some guy very famous, they support him. So when Wojtyła became Pope, they support him, and it was something very you know this, that before Pope John Paul II, there was another Pope. He was a Pope only 2 months, and he was killed. And after CIA chosen Wojtyła to become the Polish Pope because they understand that it will be good to manipulate the Polish workers, and it was success. This mission was success. So it's shown how weak was the Polish party, because in the Soviet Union in the time of Stalin, they also tried to manipulate the workers in Soviet Union, but it didn't work. It didn't work because Bolshevik party was strong. In Poland, it worked, unfortunately.
Okay, now we go with last stage of Popular Republic. Después de Gierek se nombró a Stanislaw Kania, quien solo duró 1 año en el cargo, tiempo durante el cual optó por aumentar todavía más el reformismo de Gierek y negociar con los reaccionarios de derecha y el sindicato ultra Solidarność. Renunció en 1981 y luego vino Jaruzelski, famoso Jaruzelski, el último secretario del Partido Obrero Unificado Polaco, que estuvo de 1981 a 1989. Jaruzelski estableció la ley marcial, ya que sospechaba que estaba habiendo un intento de golpe de Estado por parte de Walesa, líder de Solidarnosc, creando el Consejo Militar para la Salvación Nacional. Y durante su gobierno quizás es la etapa más oscura, más dura, que ocurrió debido a la grave deuda que se arrastraba debido ya a la política crediticia de Gierek, que causó escasez en algunos aspectos. En 1989, en medio de la caída anunciada del bloque soviético, en la crisis existente, Jaruzelski y el Partido Reunificado negocia con la oposición y así terminaría con la disolución del Partido Reunificado Polaco y la caída de la República Popular Polaca. La pregunta es, ¿cómo calificas a Jaruzelski? ¿Por qué crees que cayó, realmente no pudo aguantar la República Popular? ¿Crees que su caída podría haberse evitado? ¿Y cuál es la imagen de la sociedad polaca de esta etapa? Y Jaruzelski era más nacionalista que comunista. Y también que nos hables de la famosa Operación Jacinto. Okay. The questions are: how do you rate Jaruzelski stage? What did the Popular Republic fall? Do you think that fall could have been prevented? What is the image of that period in Polish society? He was more nationalist than communist, and speak because I see a movie in Netflix about that. It's anti-communist propaganda movie. But what are the famous Jacinto operation in Poland? You can answer.
So, in the communist conception of the socialist state, the party is the main role. So we make a revolution, and after revolution, the Communist Party is the power. In 1980s, Jaruzelski he finished with this. He make a putsch. He make a putsch against the leaders of the party. He make a putsch, and there was a new rule of Poland. Its name WRON, Wojskowa Rada Ocalenia Narodowego. It's a army Soviet of the salvation of the nation. It's a little similar to the situation in Soviet Union in 1991 when we have the putsch of Yanayev. But we need to understand that the Polish anti-communists don't understand this because they are anti-communists, so they are stupid. They think like this. Jaruzelski was a member of the party, so it is continuation. No, it is not continuation. He was a member of the party, but in 1980s, the army take power in Poland. We have the when you watch the photos of the government of Poland, you have the photos of the people in the army under uniforms. So it is first things which we need the ruling of the Workers' United Party in Poland finished in 1981. Now we can talk a little about this 8 years when the Jaruzelski was in power. We didn't have contra-revolution like in for example in Kyiv in 2014. In 2014 we have the big movement in the street, and after they take off the Yanukovych, and Yanukovych go out. It was not like this. We have the Jaruzelski who was in power with another guys from army, and they starting to think about the economical contribution. They wanted to restore the capitalism. But they have problem with speaking with the Western countries because Western countries were against them. So to communicate with Western countries, they starting to use the guys from Solidarność. So guys from Solidarność, they were in prison and they starting to talk, listen, we will make contra-revolution, we and you, half of the Poland will be taken by our side, second half you will be by your side. And in 1989 we have the things which name it is Rozmowy Okrągłego Stołu. It is talks in the round table, and it was talk how to finish socialism in Poland. And they talked about two things. First, how to make privatization. So in the time of privatization, most of the new Polish bourgeoisie, it was the people from the elites of the PZPR, elites from Jaruzelski. The friends of Jaruzelski became a new bourgeoisie. And second thing, that we don't want to be punished. We don't want to go to prison. Because it was this problem that one day you will take power and the next day you will take us to the prison. So it was how they talked. Jaruzelski, he was in United States, I think, in 1985, 1986. And he speaks with Rockefeller about changing the system in Poland. And Jaruzelski all the time was in touch with Gorbachev. And they speak because all these elites in the Eastern Bloc, they wanted to finish with socialism. And of course, there were the guys from Solidarność, but and the guys from Solidarność, they were pushed like a symbol, that this new symbol of new capitalist Poland was Lech Wałęsa. But the funny thing is that when you analyze the Polish bourgeoisie in 1990s, 90% of the Polish bourgeoisie was a ex-member of the party, and only 10% of this new bourgeoisie was from Solidarność. In the time of privatization, most of this part of the Polish economy was taken by the friends of Jaruzelski. So he was a traitor.
Okay, and for finish, the actual Polish situation. Después de la caída de la República Popular, Polonia entró en crisis económica después de la victoria de Wałęsa, líder de Solidarność, en elecciones, y esta causó la decepción de muchos de sus seguidores que votaron la primera vez por el SLD, que era el sucesor directo del PZPR. Y tanto en las elecciones legislativas como en las presidenciales ganó la Alianza de la Izquierda Democrática. Este partido ya no era comunista y después de gobernar hasta 2005 perdió un gran número de votantes porque siguió aplicando las mismas medidas de liberalización del mercado, y en ese momento pues, llegaron los partidos de extrema derecha, el PiS, y empezó el proceso de descomunización brutal, represivo, contra cualquier idea o rasgo revolucionario favorable a la etapa de la República Popular, y además de darle un gran control a la Iglesia y tomar medidas anti-aborto y anti-LGTB. Entonces, la pregunta ya, ¿cómo evalúas el gobierno de la izquierda post-comunista? ¿Qué opinión tienes del SLD y del resto de formaciones de izquierda actuales? ¿Tienes preferencia por alguna parte actualmente, por algún partido actualmente? ¿Y dónde votan actualmente los antiguos votantes comunistas, así como ves la situación económica y social actual en Polonia. Y por último, si tienes esperanzas en el resurgimiento de la izquierda. The questions: how do you assist the SLD governments? What opinion do you have of SLD and the rest of the current left-wing formations? Do you have a preference for any party currently? What do former communist people vote actually? And how do you see the current economic and social situation in Poland? Last, do you have hopes of a resurgence of the left in your country?
So the Democratic Alliance of the Democratic Alliance of Left, because this is the mean the SLD. It is the party totally controlled by the American lobby. When this party take power in 2001 and was in power until 2005, they sent Polish soldiers to Afghanistan and they sent Polish soldiers to Iraq. Also, they accept that in Poland there will be the secret prison of the CIA. So it's we can't even use the word left for these guys. There are the and especially now in the time after the 24th of February, all the Polish forces in parliament, the liberals, the conservatives, the far right, and the social democrats, they are all united in this Western politics, supporting Western imperialism, NATO, militarization against Russia. There are thousands of soldiers of United States now in Poland. Nobody knows how many. It may be 40,000, maybe 50,000. There are in Poland. There are the military bases, and when they're to teach the terrorist activity for the Nazi. From all the world, they came to Poland. They were taught, and after they go to the Ukraine or Russia to make terrorist activity. There are a lot of Polish soldiers now which are participated in war in Ukraine. A lot of them died already. So it's a shame. It's shame for the Polish nation. It's shame for the Polish state that Poland do everything what they can to continue this war, to make to change this war, not the war Ukraine against Russia, but NATO against Russia. So they wanted to provoke the Third World War, and the Polish left is one of the most aggressive force which tried to make Third World War. So I have nothing to do with these people. They are my enemies. And if you asking me if there are now some hope, no, now there are no hope for Poland. There are they 1 week ago they starting to make the conscription, the 200,000 Poles will be formed in the army. They prepare for the war. Nobody knows, but there are some rumors that in the spring or later Poland will continue this war, because already the Ukrainians are tired. Already hundreds of thousands Ukrainians died. So So now the Americans need another state which continue this war. And of course, in the history of the communist movement, we see this dialectic that first we have war, after we have revolution. We have the France war with Prussia, and after we have Commune de Paris, we have the war of Russia against Japan, and there was the revolution 1905. The October Revolution was the answer for the First World War, and maybe after the war, maybe after the economic crisis, because I think that very soon the Polish economy will collapse, because all the time they send everything to Ukraine. They send Polish weapons, they send Polish tanks, they send the Polish money, they send the Polish oil, resources. All the time they are sending everything for Ukraine. And if it have to provoke the economic crisis in Poland, so maybe this economic crisis will be like a shower of the very, very cold water. But today the Polish society is stupid. They are like crazy people, and it is impossible to speak with them. If you try to speak with them, they are attack you that you are agent of Putin, that you have rubles in your pocket and stuff like this. So now I am very, very pessimist for the for the Polish things.
Where do the former communist people in Poland currently vote? Who party is the beneficiary of that communist voters?
There is not any party which I can vote. The party there were some examples of creating party, anti-imperialist party, and all the so in 2015 there was one anti-imperialist party named Zmiana. It's Change. This party wanted to go out from NATO and sending back the American soldiers. So they were big repression, and the leader of this party, Mateusz Piskorski, he was arrested for 3 years. There are repression against very, very small and lazy Communist Party of Poland. I also wanted to create my own party. I wanted to create Polish Workers' Party. Because of that, 1 year ago, I was arrested by the Polish Secret Service when I was in Poland. I came to Poland to holiday, and they arrested me and like a terrorist. So when you want to, if you want only to make political discussion in internet, you don't have problem. When one day when you choose to create party, you can be sure that after 1 week they will start repression against you. They will arrest you. They will accuse you that you are Russian spy or Chinese spy, or I don't know. For example, we have one guy. I don't know if you know. Journalist from Spain. He is in Polish prison from 1 year. He is
Pablo González. They are in communicate for 3 months, 4, I don't know, and the charge to him is ridiculous. It's not any evidence of the affirmation that he's a Russian agent.
Yes, it's very, very good tool. Everybody you can, every guy who critiques imperialist politics can be arrested like the Russian agent. And so Polish is not democratic parliamentary state. It's the authoritarian state. It's totally dependent by the USA. and it's tragedy for us that of course, I like a communist. I don't trust this lie that there are like a democracy and liberty for the people, blah blah blah. But I see some difference from the political activity of communists in France, where I am lived, and in Poland. That in France they are some communist organization. They have they newspapers. They organize demonstrations, some activity, and nobody arrests you only because you are going to the street with red flag and when you are saying about communism. In Poland, when you are not agree with this capitalist politics, or if you are not agree with the alliance with United States and Ukraine, they can arrest you and without charges, because they say it's not a question of this, it is a question that he is the agent of the another state, and many people are and I am scared about what do they do when the war will start, because when we see the situation in Ukraine, we see that the SBU and the guys of Zelensky, they killed a lot of guys who are not agree with Zelensky. So they in Poland they don't kill the political opponents, but it can change in any minute.
Okay, pues very thanks to you for this interview. Muchas gracias al camarada por la entrevista. Michal Novicki tiene un canal de YouTube. Thanks, Tavares Michal.
Wait. I thank you for conversation, but there is a question for you. Why are you interested in Poland?
I'm now do a series of videos of different ex-socialist countries. Now Poland. Next Monday I interview a Spanish university teacher that lives in Budapest, in Hungary, and it's I'm very curious of the different socialist countries and the actual memories of the people of that past.
Okay, so thank you, comrade, for conversation, and good luck with this job. It's very important to analyze the history of the Eastern Europe, because the bourgeoisie in our country make everything to forget about this. They make decommunization, they destroy the monuments, they destroy the books, they try to totally destroy this our history, which I am proud.
Totally, Poland have a far right government, and I would like that change, but it's difficult that you say. Thank you very much, and see you, comrade.
See you, comrades.